Fox 8, your weather authority. This is a severe weather update, sponsored by Egan Insurance Agency. Family to family, business to business since 1954.
Well, good morning. It is 2:36 and we're tracking multiple severe thunderstorms this morning. Now, widespread, we're looking at mainly the South Shore that we're seeing these strongest storms. You can see all of this lightning that we have moving through. We have over 300 strikes at one point. Now we're seeing nearly 300 lightning strikes just across the South Shore. So we're going to take a look at a couple of these warnings as they start to roll through the area. So right now, this main severe thunderstorm that we have been tracking down across the South Shore, moving through Golden Meadow, and this is a second severe thunderstorm. We had that original polygon that's been expired now that we were seeing earlier. Now we have this large area extending all the way out to the east through Golden Meadow. We're starting to see that strong storm moving through, and we did see a recorded wind gust at Dulac of 65 miles per hour. So we are seeing very strong winds in this storm. We're also looking at that hail threat with these areas in purple. So we're going to take a look first at that wind and what we're really seeing there. It doesn't look like we're seeing too bad. That worst area of wind right now seems to be between Golden Meadow, Galliano up to Cutoff. We're seeing these greens and reds, and where we have those lighter red colors and lighter greens, that's where those strongest winds are. So if we query that, we can see exactly what we're looking at right now. Radar indicated we're seeing 30 to 40 mile per hour winds there headed into Golden Meadow. So this is another thunderstorm that's about to make its way through. We just saw another strong storm moving through there. That's going to make its way through as well. Now, this is not tornadic activity. We're just looking at gusty winds. We also have that hail threat. So these areas in pink and purple that are popping up are where we're most likely to see that hail, and where we're getting those little pops of white in there as well. So we'll look at that hail track, see if we're seeing any indication. We have marked this severe thunderstorm warning with up to $50 size hail. So we could be seeing some really large hail in there. It looks like we're seeing a little bit of an indication. Just moved through Chauvin, now headed towards Golden Meadow, of seeing some of that hail there. If we turn off the lightning, we can see it a little bit better. Where you're seeing those pops of pink, that's that hail headed in. So if we stop playing that out, we can see exactly where we might be seeing that larger hail. Now notice we're not on the end of the scale here on large hail, but we could be seeing up to $50 size hail moving across the bayou right now, headed towards Golden Meadow and Galliano. So you are in that severe thunderstorm warning that is going to expire at 3 a.m. It is currently 2:38. So we still have a little ways to go for that warning. Now we'll zoom out because we also have a couple of other areas that we are watching. We had that severe thunderstorm up to the north. This was for the eastern part of the city, moving now into St. Bernard Parish and parts of Orleans. We did see some indication of some pretty large hail as it moved through Chalmette, but now it is seeing like we're kind of dissipating a little bit with that hail core that was briefly over there as it was over the river. But still now moving out into the waters. We're going to continue to watch this storm. We could see some marine problems as that makes its way towards the east. Now I'm going to zoom out and show you exactly what's going on this morning. We're seeing a lot of activity as this storm system moves through. Now this is the second round of severe weather that we've seen today. We didn't have too much activity throughout the evening hours. Now we're starting to see this second wave of storms moving through along a cold front pushing through the area. So this storm system now starting really to push down to the south, and you can kind of see what happened. We had this little outflow boundary, that's that little line of green, moved through the city, and that blew up that one severe storm that we're tracking now heading out of St. Bernard and parts of Orleans. And now it's kind of cutting off the flow to these stronger storms up on the North Shore. So we're not seeing any warnings up there. But notice what's happening on the backside here. We're getting widespread heavy rainfall. We're going to have to watch as that pushes into the city, because with this heavy rain that's moving through now and that headed in the next minutes or so, we're going to see a lot of training rainfall lingering over the area. So we'll have to watch for that flooding threat. That's certainly another issue. We do have a flash flood watch out for most of the area. Now let's see if we can take a look at that camera on the lakefront right now. You can see those conditions that we're seeing on the lake. It's really gusty. We've had winds gusting over 40 miles per hour on the lakefront. You could see it there in the palm trees waving around, and we're also seeing a lot of lightning strikes and that heavy rainfall. So that's pretty much the story across the area where we're seeing all of this rain today. Now we are going to take one more look at those warnings, see if we have anything else going on that we can see indicated. We'll take a look at this one that is out to the east of the city, see if we can see any hail there that we're watching. This has also been tagged for $half size hail. I'm not seeing any hail indications, so that is good news. It looks like if we are seeing hail with that, it's relatively small. It's mostly going to be those gusty winds that become problematic. And you can see it there where we have those lighter reds. That means we have stronger winds. So querying that, we'll see exactly what radar indicated winds we're getting headed out in that direction. Looks like 40-mile-per-hour winds. We could see gusting up to 50 miles per hour, and we've already seen some of these storms producing over 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So certainly damaging wind. We'll have to continue to watch those storms as they head in that direction. Now the good news, this is really the end of that strong storm system on the leading edge of this. All of this rainfall behind here is not severe. That's going to be just widespread light to moderate rain. We could see some pockets of heavy rainfall, but we're not looking at that severe threat. So as this leading edge moves through along this cold front, that severe threat is going to diminish to the west. So this is making its way through our area right now. It's not going to last much longer. Over the next hour or so, we should see things starting to shape up. We'll get a little bit better conditions out there, even though we might have some lingering rainfall that we'll have to watch for. It doesn't take much to flood, so we could have those flooding issues by the time we get to the morning hours if we have that lingering rain. So taking another look down to the south, we do have some pops of purple there still happening towards Golden Meadow. Let's see if we are getting that hail indication still. It looks like we're getting a couple of pockets of hail along this line. So we could see some of that headed towards Grand Isle, Leeville. This is just to the southwest. Golden Meadow could see some hail there shortly, and then headed up towards Cutoff. We could see that hail embedded in that line. So we're looking up to $half size hail. And with those wind gusts that we already measured in Dulac of 65 miles per hour, that certainly could cause damage when it's throwing that hail around at that speed. So looking at reflectivity again, this is pushing through really quickly, and we've already been seeing those really gusty winds. Let's see if I can pull up those wind gusts for us. We have that view of the lakefront, very gusty out there, and those winds across the area. This is peak wind gusts that have been measured since midnight, only a couple of hours ago. We've seen 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts out at the airport, lakefront seeing almost 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But notice down in Terrebonne Parish, that's where we've really been seeing those gusty winds. Over to the west as well, over 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then we did have that recorded wind gust in Dulac of 65 miles per hour. So we're seeing those gusty winds. That's what we're mainly watching for in these storms. This is, again, not a tornado threat at this time. We're mostly just watching for those thunderstorm winds. So severe thunderstorm level winds over 60 miles per hour that we're watching with these storms. Take a look at base velocity again. This is how we can see those winds. You can tell where that windshield is as it's moving through. So we saw that outflow boundary I was talking about drop through. Here's the edge of that where we're getting those really gusty winds. We also had a wind gust, I think 39 miles per hour measured on the causeway as that moved through before we even saw the thunderstorms. So that outflow boundary very strong, bringing strong winds now through Belle Chase down into parts of northern Plaquemine Parish. And we're going to continue to see that pushing through Jefferson and Lafourche as well. So querying that, we'll see exactly what radar indication is showing. We're seeing up to 40-mile-per-hour radar indicated winds there, pushing on the leading edge of this line. And where those severe thunderstorm warnings are, we have those tagged for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. So that sustained wind is around 30 to 40 miles per hour as this is pushing through. So we'll roll through this one more time. Now that severe thunderstorm warning has expired, that was to the east of the city, so that's good news, but we're still seeing a lot of heavy rainfall. So we'll continue to watch for that flooding threat. If you're headed out early tomorrow, we have a lot, or today, we have a lot of activity going on. We have multiple festivals, Ponchatoula Strawberry Festival, we have French Quarter Fest. You'll have to watch for that standing water. We saw a lot of rainfall earlier in the day yesterday. Now we're seeing all of this rain across the area tonight. So we're watching for that flood threat tomorrow. Keep that in mind. Don't drive through that standing water. Now we only have this one severe thunderstorm warning left. That does include Grand Isle now, so we could see those strong storms moving through. This does expire at 3 a.m. So we'll take a wide view before I get off and let y'all resume to your normal programming. We're looking at this back building now of the rainfall with this storm system. This leading edge is going to be the end of that severe threat. We are in a severe thunderstorm watch. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. It looks like we don't have that up anymore. But we're seeing a lot of lightning with these storms. We've had, now we're seeing over 400 lightning strikes with this system as it's moving through. So this leading edge is what we're watching for that severe threat. If we do happen to get any more warnings or anything that we're concerned about, we'll jump back on here. But we'll continue to watch for that flooding threat as well. If you are headed out again today, there's a lot of activities going on for your Sunday. Watch for that standing water. And down along the south, still keeping an eye on those strong storms. But that's it for your severe weather update at this hour. We'll have more. Download the Fox 8 weather app to stay updated.
From Fox 8, your weather authority, this was a severe weather update. Sponsored by Egan Insurance Agency, family to family, business to business since 1954.
And swap.